Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And Deputy Speaker, there is no prouder moment to be the member for Lalor than to stand and deliver a speech supporting our budget, the third budget of the Albanese Labor government, in a time when we know that Australians are doing it tough. I know that in my community people are under mortgage stress, that renters are struggling to find the funds to pay their rents. I know that in our schools, that in the families of the children that I talk to when I go and visit schools, they are relaying those things to me in our question and answer sessions. 10 years I've been the member for Lalor, and I can tell you in the last few months in schools when I go to talk about civics and citizenship and it gets to question and answer, there are lots of young people talking to me about families that they know that have had some time being homeless, talking and asking questions about inflation. So I know how deep this goes because I'm hearing it from primary school aged children. And that's why I'm so proud of this budget, because it's a budget that prioritises easing cost of living pressures and has been designed to help every Australian, not just some. It is a Labor budget. It's a Labor budget through and through. It's a budget to support those doing it tough and to build the industries needed to power Australia into the future. As part of this budget, we are delivering a tax cut for every taxpayer, a tax cut for every taxpayer in Lalor, giving every household in Australia a $300 energy rebate, wiping $3 billion in student debt and fixing the indexation issues around HECS, investing in new bulk billed Medicare urgent clinics in other communities where we already have one in Lalor. We're making medicines cheaper for people in Lalor. We're delivering the first back-to-back increase to rent assistance in more than 30 years, and I know what that means to some of the families in Lalor. And it delivers for women. This budget delivers for workers, for young people, for families, for small businesses. It's a budget for everyone coming off the back of 2 years' work to get wages moving and to get inflation down. Those are the priorities of this Labor government. It's a responsible budget that focuses on relieving financial stress for families and workers and people across the country without increasing inflation. Deputy Speaker, the government is providing $3.5 billion in energy relief for all Australian households, 1 million eligible small businesses. We know that relief needs to be provided where it matters, and from July 1st, more than 10 million households will receive a total rebate of $300 and eligible small businesses will receive $325 on their electricity bills throughout the year. One of the other headlines of this budget is obviously the relief for university students or for those who have studied. Our government's budget is making HECS help system fairer by capping the help indexation rate to be lower of either the consumer price index, the CPI, or the wage price index, whichever is lower. This will be backdated to June 2023, meaning those with a help debt will receive a credit and will also ensure that help debts never grow faster than wages again. The government will cut $3 billion in student debt for more than 3 million Australians. It's an issue that's important in my electorate. In Lalor is home to one of the youngest demographics in the country, and this change will support 19,500 people who have a help debt in the community that I represent. Another key issue for the people of Lalor that this budget helps with is cheaper medicines. We're investing $4 billion to deliver cheaper medicines to ease pressure on household budgets by freezing the pharmaceutical benefit copayment and adding more medicines to the PBS. Across Lalor, residents have already saved $2 million thanks to the Albanese government's commitment to delivering cheaper medicines. Those in our community who access PBS medicines are set to save even more following our freeze on the maximum cost to PBS medicines. We're also ensuring that pensioner and concession card holders in Lalor won't pay more than $7.70 for their PBS medications for the next 5 years. That is great comfort to those who are filling more than one script often. The actions taken by this government are now again supported in this budget delivering cheaper medicines for people across the community that I represent. Deputy Speaker, in the area of health, one of the things I'm proudest of has been our government's work in making Medicare more available to Australians. And we've done that by tripling the bulk billing incentive, and I know from the Deputy Speaker's electorate how important this has been in the area of Bendigo, and equally it's been important in Lalor. We've strengthened the distribution priority area through recognising 700 areas with either full or partial DPA status, including Wyndham. And this has been a game changer because, of course, under those opposite, we lost 30% of our GPs when we lost our DPA status. This government has restored our DPA status, and those GP clinics are attracting doctors and assisting to train doctors and getting them qualified in our community. It's absolutely critical, and I'm really proud it's something that this government has done. It means more skilled doctors are able to take their experience to benefit the lives of those living in regional, rural and remote Australia, or, as in our case, in the outer suburbs in the growth corridors. Residents in Lalor have continued to reap the benefits of our government's investments and will continue to do so through this budget, with an additional 2,000 bulk billed visits to the GPs in Lalor since November 2023. Our community will continue to access bulk billed walk-in urgent care from the Werribee Medicare Urgent Care Clinic, which of course was established when we came to office. And there are 63,000 residents in Lalor have accessed 168,000 pathology services last year, and the number of people accessing these services is significant, and we are making sure that pathology tests remain bulk billed by indexing the Medicare rebates for common medical tests, something I know that is important to locals. But the big news in this budget, the big news, and something that I am really proud of, is that this budget announces that in the city of Wyndham, which is home to the electorate of Lalor, where our community has for too long had to travel to Geelong or the city to access a Medicare rebated MRI or fork out hundreds of dollars from their own pockets, this Labor government has fixed that issue. Unlike the previous government, who continued to give more Medicare rebated licences to Geelong and ignore the west of Melbourne, this Labor government has made a commitment to 4 Medicare rebated MRI licences in the city of Wyndham, the first of which will come online in the coming months. This is a game changer for our local community, where I know I have been at our hospital, and at one point during the time those opposite were in government, I watched people be put into patient transport inside our hospital, taken across the road to get an MRI, and then have the privilege of paying $500 for that service. Not for the transport, but for the MRI, because it wasn't a Medicare rebated MRI licence. Now we will have 4. That is a game changer for so many locals. Deputy Speaker, one of the things I'm proudest of in this budget was the announcement around the increase again for fee-free TAFE. This is an absolute critical part of Labor government's priorities, and the impact it has in my electorate can't be understated. We're investing $88 million to deliver an additional 20,000 fee-free TAFE and vet places, including 5,000 pre-apprenticeships, that will be for construction and housing. And in an area like mine, where we build houses, it's what we do every day, this is critical. And I know how many small businesses will be welcoming that news, that means that they can take on apprentices, that those apprentices will be able to afford this process. It's going to be a game changer for so many small businesses in my electorate. And that, of course, is on top of the work that we've already done in the fee-free TAFE space across the last 2 years, with hundreds of thousands of people getting training, accessing training and joining our workforce. Deputy Speaker, this budget is about priorities, but the most important thing about this budget is that it steps out what we will be doing in terms of investing in a future made in Australia. Because budgets are about priorities, and this budget really tells Australia what this government is about. We're about ensuring that the good jobs of the future are created here in this country, that we become more than a quarry and a farm, that where we have resources, we are value-adding to those resources and ensuring that we have the workforce, the skilled workforce we need to get these jobs done. Just like another 20,000 fee-free TAFE for apprentices into the housing industry so that we can build the 1.2 million homes across this next 10 years that we know we need to ensure that our young people and that people can afford a house. Just like that, we need to invest and invest wisely into the future made in Australia so that we can position ourselves to take benefit of the opportunities of the decades ahead. There's a $22.7 billion plan for future made in Australia will help us be an indispensable part of the global economy as we shift to renewable energy. It will help us attract investment, make our country a renewable energy superpower, value add to our resources and increase economic security. It backs Australian ideas, innovation and science, invests in our people and our places, particularly our regions. It's thoughtful, it's a policy that will drive us for the next decade. This budget demonstrates a responsible Labor government doing what needs to be done to support families, to support communities, to support workers right now on the ground, but with an eye on the future, ensuring that as a country we are making the most of the opportunities presented to us and the most of the opportunities that we have already in this great country. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.